Hello, everybody. I think this is it. We're live. I've just clicked the button, and fingers crossed, I think we're live now. So, welcome indeed to the first ScarletFire webinar I've ever held, and we're really lucky tonight to have with us a very special guest, Ben from Veloviewer.
Hello.
Thanks everybody for signing up. Ben, do you want to say hello there?
Hello. Hi. I don't know if you can. Do we need to click something to see me? Can you see me on there?
So I'm just going to try and share this screen now, Ben, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
Yeah, so just to do an introduction then, my name's Alan Thompson. I run ScarletFire.co.uk. So hopefully some of you joined the webinar because you're already sort of a follower of my site. Others of you may be here because you're already, you've come through Ben's angle, if you like. You're already Veloviewer users rather. From humble beginnings, really, I wanted to draw attention to sort of paint the picture of where this all came from. It was about 3 years ago when I wrote a blog post called Turbocharge Your Strava Data with these third-party API tools. And it basically, here's the actual post here. It was a whole list of different sites that people had created, basically making use of the Strava API. Some of them still exist, some of them don't. Some of them have been amalgamated into other services and indeed in part of Strava itself these days. And right down the bottom of this list, there was a little site called StravaViewer.com. And this is, of course, evolved into the mighty Veloviewer. But it literally had only been going, I think, a few short weeks when I first blogged about it. And I was looking through this earlier and delighted to discover that Ben himself had commented on it. And I don't know if you've seen this in a while, Ben. Thanks for adding StravaViewer to your list. As you say, I only knocked this site together a couple of weeks ago, and it's very much in beta phase. Getting there, though, and hopefully when all the back-end process sorted, I can make it a bit prettier and start doing some useful data visualizations. Well, you know, what a difference 3 years makes. That's all I can say.
It's still in the beta phase, though, I would say. I'm sure people might agree with that.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you see it differently from the rest of us. I mean, to everybody, to us mere mortals, what you've achieved is just phenomenal. You know, we've gone from that was basically the homepage a few years ago, and it was essentially just a breakdown of the segments, I think, wasn't it? And these days, you know, 3 years later, we've got all these various awards and more analyses than you can really shake a stick at. Including, you know, wonderful things like these radial designs and everything as a depiction of all your rides and so on. It's just amazing what you can do on there.
Thank you. Yeah, it all started off with the with getting a Windows phone, and at the same time, one of my friends, it was over winter, and we were doing these spin sessions, and after the spin sessions, they were we would go and hang out in the jacuzzi and the gym, and we would chat about stuff. You know, there was a big group of us. It wasn't just me and another guy or anything, but you know, it was like we were having and he was talking about Strava, and at the time I was like, yeah, I've not heard of this Strava, and I wasn't that interested at the time. But then he convinced me to have a look at it, so I started having a quick look, and obviously just like everyone else here, I was hooked immediately as soon as I started using the thing, and I saw that it had this API. And with the Windows phone, I was looking to try and build something on there. So with the data and with something that I was interested in, it was a perfect opportunity to build something. So I built that segment list. So that was the first thing, and then it was then building into a website so actually people could use it. And there's only a few people in my bike club that were using it, and then for some reason a bunch of people in Norway picked up on it. I don't know if you've got a lot of Norwegian viewers of your website, Alan, but it seemed to suddenly spark to life in Norway, and was that there were some very early adopters, and yeah, so yeah, it's gone from there. But it's more been a testing ground for me to learn skills building things, whether it was in the Windows phone initially or in the web. Yeah, it's all grown from there.
I didn't realize about that Norwegian connection. That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
So what have we got in store tonight, Ben? We've had a few questions in advance of the webinar. So I did email out my list just inviting questions in. We've got a bunch of those lined up on the slide deck there. And I know you've got a few things as well that you'd like to share, including some hints really as to the direction you take in Veloviewer in the future. So we'll be coming to those right at the end. So we're hoping to go on for about an hour, aren't we? So we'll wrap it up about 8:30. So we'll try and pace ourselves through all those questions. Where should we start?
Okay. Well, I think shall I? I'll share my screen just so you don't have to look at me anymore.